Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear friends. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and liking my videos. In today's session, I'm going to talk about linguistics. Specifically, in this session, we are going to talk about linguistics as a concept, meaning what is linguistics, and the branches of linguistics, mainly the core areas. This would be the learning outcomes. So what is linguistics? What do we understand linguistics to be? It is the scientific study of languages. Linguistics studies the structure, meaning, and context of languages. How language works, how is it learned, and how it changes over time. So linguistics seeks to understand the fundamental principles that govern languages. This is what linguistics is. It is the science of language. And there are a range of ways to study language. These ways are reflected in the areas or the branches of linguistics. So there are core areas to linguistics, and I have listed them here. Phonetics and phonology deals with the speech sounds. Phonetics looks at individual speech sounds, and phonology looks at how the individual sounds combine to form systems of sound. Morphology looks into the structure and form of words, while syntax is a study of the structure of phrases and sentences. Semantics is the study of word and sentence meaning, while pragmatics is the study of meaning in context. These are the core areas. Now let me go through each. Phonetics, as I said, focuses on the physical properties of speech sounds. So when I say physical properties, we are looking at the vocal organs and how they interact to produce sound. For example, your lip, tongue, and teeth. How do they work together to produce a sound? I've put an example here, the word cat. So a phonetician would analyze the exact position of one's tongue, lips, and vocal cords for each sound. And what is the airflow involved? How is the sound produced? Physically, how is it produced? So, k for cat, it involves three phonemes, k, e, and t. So how do they come together? That's the business of phonetics. Then phonology, it is the study of patterns of sounds, meaning how individual sounds, how do they combine? How are they organized in order to produce a sound system within the language? So I've put an example here for the plural S. So for the same word cat, I've pluralized it with an S. So I say cats. Now look at the word dog. Make it plural, add S. We get dogs. But cats and dogs, you see the last phoneme, it doesn't sound the same, the plural S for cats is coming with a S sound, but for dogs, you get the Z sound. So this is what phonology is interested in. What are the rules of a language that give rise to certain patterns? So there is the English rule, for formation of plurals. If the base word ends in a voiceless sound, then the plural S is pronounced as S. But if the base word ends in a voiced sound, then we get the plural S pronounced as Z. So because the plural S now will take the sound of the consonant or the phoneme that precedes it. So when you have cat, t, it ends with a t. Cat. So it is voiceless. So the plural S is also pronounced in a voiceless sound because it precedes the sound before it. Okay, the phoneme that comes before it. And likewise with the S in dogs, because g, the last phoneme in dog, is a voiced sound. So the plural S is pronounced with a voiced sound, and that's why you get a Z. So these are patterns of sounds which phonology is interested in. So this is what this is part of. These are the two areas that look into sounds of a language in a scientific way. So they are core areas in linguistics. Now, the other core area is morphology. This one looks into the rules that form words. Now, morphology is about rules that form words. How words are formed from smaller units called morphemes. So, for example, the word unbreakable. You have got three morphemes here. Un, that is the prefix. Then you have the root word break, and you have able, the suffix. So morphology looks at prefixes and suffixes and the root word and how these morphemes are combined to form words. So that's the business of morphology. What are the rules that form words? So that helps us to understand word structure. Another example is the word walked. So walked has got the root word walk and the ed, which is the past tense morpheme. So we combine them and we get the word walked. So this is the business of morphology, structure of words. Then we have the structure of sentences. This is syntax. This is another area in linguistics. So syntax is concerned with how words and phrases are arranged to form sentences, how words are combined to form phrases, clauses, and sentences. So for example, in English, we have the general structure SVO, where subject is followed by verb and object. So example of a sentence that follows this sentence structure SVO, the dog chased the cat. This is a well-formed sentence. Correctly formed sentence. If you say chased the cat, the dog, this becomes incorrect in English because it does not follow the syntactic rule in English. So the study of rules that form sentences is the business of syntax. Then we have semantics, another area in linguistics. Semantics is the study of meaning, how words, phrases, and sentences convey meaning. So for example, in English, look, I took the word bank as an example. Now the word bank has got multiple meanings. It can mean a financial institution and it can mean the side of a river. So semantics will investigate how context determines the meaning of the word. Correct? So semantics is looking at words and how the words convey meaning. So it investigates multiple meanings. Semantics also looks into relationship between words. For example, we have got words which are synonymous, big and large, antonymous, hot and cold. So that's the relationship between the two words. There are also words which are superordinate, like vehicle is a superordinate term, and we have hyponyms for the word vehicle like car, truck, bicycle. So this is how the words are related to one another. So the study of meaning is what semantics is interested in. Then we have pragmatics. Pragmatics is the study of how context influences the interpretation of meaning. So pragmatics looks at context. It goes beyond the words to understand meaning. So what do speakers mean? How do listeners understand based on shared knowledge between them is what pragmatics is interested in. For example, if someone says it's cold in here, so the speaker is not literally saying, talking about the temperature. It's beyond that, you know. Pragmatically, the speaker might be making an indirect request for the window to be closed because he or she may be feeling cold. Or maybe the speaker wants a blanket, requesting for a blanket from, you know. So that's what pragmatics is, looking at how meaning is conveyed through the context between the speaker and the listener. Another example that I've put here is, can you pass the salt? So this question is not about one's ability to pass the salt or not, but actually a polite request by the speaker for some salt to be, added to the food that he's eating. So this is how context can influence interpretation of meaning between speakers and listeners. So pragmatics is that study. So now I've come up with this diagram where I have written the core areas. Okay, this diagram shows us linguistics, the scientific study of languages. So the core areas that allow us to study language scientifically is phonetics, phonology, which involve the study of the sound system. Morphology is the study of the structure of words. Syntax is the study of the structure of sentences. Semantics is the study of word meaning. And pragmatics is the study of meaning as conveyed through the context. So these core areas allow us ways to study language scientifically. Other than the core areas, there are also interdisciplinary and specialized areas in linguistics. Sociolinguistics, psycholinguistics, biolinguistics, and so on are interdisciplinary areas within linguistics. Then there are also intradisciplinary areas, which I've listed here: prescriptive linguistics, descriptive linguistics, and so on, which we will undertake in our next video. Okay, in our next session. So let me conclude for today. In essence, linguistics is the scientific study of human languages. Linguistics allows us to study languages and understand the complexity of languages. It is scientific and systematic. Okay, these are my references. These are the books that I use for today's session. In the next session, we will cover interdisciplinary and specialized areas within linguistics and intradisciplinary areas. So dear friends, this is what I have in this session, and I will end now. Thank you for being with me. Please subscribe so that we stay connected, and I will see you soon. Thank you.